62, are we going to do an 8-day fishing trip to Belize, living rough? I don't know. I mean, I like to think that I could, but I don't know. So there's a whole world of things that you can only do when you have a certain amount of health and a certain amount of money. And so these things are things that you want to do in your 50s or your early 60s, where you've got the health to do it. Now, what if you are in your 70s? And what if you've spent decades on your wealth building journey, but you're still decades away from getting where you want to be? You're in a tough spot. I'm going to tell you right now, you're in a tough spot. You've got to do something different. You can't wait on Wall Street's 20 and 40-year promises. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to show you how to literally spread your hands through time and pull forward a lifetime of stock market gains. And you know what? This is going to sound crazy, but even pulling forward 20 years worth of gains might be conservative.
Conservative? All right. What are you talking about here, Teeka? 20 years is conservative?
I think so. And I know that sounds nuts, right? But I'm not going to ask you just to take me on blind faith. I'm going to show you some examples where you actually could have pulled forward not a single lifetime worth of gains, but literally multiple lifetimes worth of investment gains. I'm talking about crazy things, John. I'm talking about making 100 years worth of S&P 500 gains in 13 days. I'm talking about making 250 years worth of S&P 500 gains in 20 days. And one trade gave 5 centuries of S&P 500 gains in a month. But here's where things get really crazy. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Friends, I want you to pay very special attention to what I'm about to say next, because this is why you came here this evening. The secret making this opportunity possible is not what you might think, right? It's not penny stocks. It's not pre-IPO shares. It's not crypto. It's not tiny small cap stocks. Here's the crazy thing. It's from blue chip stocks. John, these types of gains are coming from massive, conservative, blue chip stocks.
Wait, so we're going to pull forward 20 years, 30 years, even 40 years of our life on blue chip stocks? I mean, come on now. That really sounds impossible.
John, under normal conditions, it is impossible. I absolutely get it. That's why I call it an anomaly. Look, under normal conditions, it is absolutely impossible to use blue chip stocks to move the needle on your net worth, right? The way that you can with crypto. You just can't do it. It's like walking on the moon without a spacesuit. Really dumb. However, there are these periods of time that I call anomaly windows where the impossible becomes possible. Think of it as a window in time where the rules around making money in blue chip stocks, they change. These rules become amorphous. The normal rules become suspended. It's like being able to play with light or time or gravity. It's very rare when it happens, but when it happens and you can operate within this anomaly window, the gains you can see from seemingly ordinary, boring, safe blue chip stocks, they become life-changing. Now, here's the thing, and here's why I'm kind of practically foaming at the mouth. I can confirm the anomaly window is finally open again.
It's open today.
Today, every single example I've shared with you is from the anomaly window that is open today. That's why we had to be here tonight. You think about this, right? We talked about incentives and how the world works with incentives with Wall Street. Do you think my marketing team wanted me here talking about blue chip stocks tonight, John? Have you seen crypto prices lately?
I have seen crypto prices lately, Teeka.
Don't you think they want me out here talking about crypto, right? Yeah. You should have seen the looks on their faces when I said, no, guys, we're not talking about crypto. I said, this anomaly window doesn't open very often. We got to talk about blue chip stocks. They're like, oh, okay, T, but we could do so much with crypto right now. So again, I'm only going to come to you, friends, when it makes the most sense for you. And right now, it makes the most sense for you, for me to talk about blue chip stocks. Because what I want to show you is what's happening behind the scenes in the market. Because hear me when I tell you, this new anomaly window is the biggest anomaly window in the history of Wall Street. That's not hyperbole. That's not marketing BS. That's not me exaggerating. I'm going to show you tonight that in the last 100 years of the stock market, we have never, ever seen an anomaly window this big.
Teeka, are you sure you want to go on record and say that? Because I'm going to hold you to that statement. If we've never seen one this big, you're going to have to prove it later on.
100%. I'm not alone in that belief, and I can prove it. Let me show you. One of the most powerful men in America already called it a once-in-a-generation investment. He also added, it's unlike anything we've seen. When I tell you who this man is in a moment, you'll begin to understand exactly just what this anomaly window is. But for now, what I want you to understand is because this is the biggest anomaly window ever, there's nobody living that's ever seen this type of opportunity before. We are literally seeing the opportunity to make the biggest gains from blue chips I have ever seen. And I've been in the market since the late 80s. Things are getting insane. I'm talking about 714% from Exxon in 48 days, 1,600% from Lowe's in 35 days, 2,100% from Google in 33 days, 3,000% from Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly, John, in 19 days, and 4,600% from Amazon, not in 20 years, in 13 days.
Well, Teeka, I know we're talking about the stock market and those things, but those look like crypto gains to me. I mean, 4,600% from Amazon in 13 days? I've never heard of these kind of gains from blue chip stocks, ever.
Most people haven't, and that's what's so incredible about this opportunity. Because again, we're not talking about the crypto market. We're not talking about the pre-IPO market. We're not talking about penny stocks. We're talking about seemingly ordinary, boring, safe blue chips. That's the power of this anomaly window, John. When this window opens, the impossible becomes possible. It's like the law of physics change. Look, if you're a buy and hold investor in Amazon, do you have any idea how long you would have had to wait to get a 4,600% gain? Take a guess, John.
I was wondering, even as I said that, right? It seems like a hot stock right now. So I don't know. Maybe you'd have to wait 5 years to get that gain.
Yeah, I mean, that on the surface seems like a good call, but actually you would have had to wait 13 years. So again, John, I'm 50, you're 50. In 13 years, we're 63. Do we have 13 years to sit around doing this? If you're 60, you're 73 before you can cash in on that gain. I mean, look, it's a great gain. You got all this money. What are you doing with it, right? What if you could make the same amount of money, but not in 13 years, but in 13 days? What if you could enjoy that money at 50 instead of 63? What if you could enjoy that money when you're 60 instead of 73? What if you could enjoy that money when you're 70 instead of 83? Right? What does that do for your life? Friends at home, I want you to think about this. What's that worth to you to get 13 years of your life back that are going to be productive, that you can do more things with the people that you love because you have more money? What is that worth to you? I cannot put a dollar figure on what having 13 more productive years with money is worth. Can you, John?
No, not at all, Teeka. I mean, that's priceless. And if I'm being honest, folks, it really gets me where I want to be instead of where I'm currently at. I mean, I'd be at my ranch in Montana if I had 13 extra years worth of gains instead of chatting with you, Teeka. Now, look, I know the Q&A is coming up later, right? So But I'm going to ask the first question that's got to be on everybody's minds. How in the heck can blue chips like Amazon, Google, and even Eli Lilly, how do they give us those types of gains if they're not buy and holding?
It's a super important question. And friends, I'm going to ask you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say next. If you're probably thinking, okay, T, what's the gotcha? What's the aha? What's the catch? Here's the catch. To profit from the anomaly window, you have to use a series of special strategies. These are the same strategies quietly being used by some of the top firms on Wall Street. Now, for many of you watching tonight, it's going to be a brand new series of strategies that you're unfamiliar with. I would say 999 out of 1,000 people on Main Street have never used these strategies. So I'm going to do something here that I'm quite famous for. I'm going to gaze into my imaginary crystal ball. And I'm going to foretell the future right now. Friends, I guarantee you, and I got to be very careful about using the word guarantee, but I guarantee you, when I reveal this strategy to you, you're not going to want to use it. You're going to say, not for me to worry. It's too complicated. It's too risky. I can't do it. It's too difficult. Now, I will say this. While you might believe all of that is true for you right now, I can tell you unequivocally, there's a certain group of Wall Street operators that love the fact that you will think like that. They are hoping that you never, ever take the time to learn about the strategy that I'm going to reveal to you in just a moment. They pray you always think it's too complicated for you to learn about.
And I'm guessing that has to do with the money they make when we don't know it.
Right, John. Remember, always look at the incentives, right? They want to double dip and hope you foot the bill. With one hand, they're taking $17 billion a year in fees from your pocket. With the other, they're making billions with this anomaly window technique. Citigroup made $1.3 billion using this technique they don't want you to know about. Goldman Sachs made $2.9 billion. Again, using the technique they don't want you to know about. JP Morgan, they brought in $3.4 billion using a technique they pray I never tell you about, that you never find out about. John, $3.4 billion in a quarter profit. Across Wall Street's largest banks, profits from this technique during this anomaly window are already over $50 billion. That's what they make over 2.5 years holding your money. Think about that. They've made 2.5 years of profits in 90 days? And what's crazy is I'm going to show you how from here, things are set to get even bigger for them and for you too, if you follow what I'm about to tell you and if you use this strategy. Friends, if you take nothing else from this event, please understand Wall Street has spent billions of dollars conditioning you to keep your money with them for your entire life, because that's how Wall Street gets to double dip. They don't want you to get rich. They don't want you to be financially independent because it does not serve their financial needs. They don't get the fees that they want. So this is why they tell everyone, oh, keep your money invested with us for 30 or 40 years. And John, they're laughing at all of us behind our backs. They're making 30, 40 years worth of gains in days from blue chip stocks. Look, I got no problem with somebody making money, but it's got to be fair. It's got to be equitable. And this is just not fair. It's not equitable. And that's why I'm here tonight, to give everybody a shot at buying back at least 20 years of their life, and to do it in blue chip stocks, not some crazy penny stocks. And in fact, I'm going to give everybody watching tonight a list of the 30 stocks I used to take advantage of the anomaly window for my subscribers. And you're going to get all of that for free. Again, for free, no strings attached. All I ask is that you keep an open mind, because friends, if you're my age, John's age, or if you're older, it's the only way I know of to buy back the life you want in a time frame that makes sense using blue chip stocks.
Well, Teeka, I'm on board, right? Buying back my life from Wall Street, even if it takes me out of my comfort zone. Now, I said that. And I'm still feeling
I'm
it.
going to hold you to that. Okay? I'm going to hold you to that statement.
I hope you do, because I could use buying back 20 years of my life. So let's get to it. Let's get into what an anomaly window is. Can you walk us through the Wall Street's technique? And then we get to the list of stocks you promised us. And of course, folks, we have the Q&A coming up. Again, put your questions in as they go. I also want to remind you, Teeka, you made us a big promise. You said this anomaly window is the biggest in history. So I hope you brought some stats to back all that up.
John, I know you were going to bust my chops about that. And look, fair enough. I'm up for the challenge. Actually, I'm going to up the ante, and I'll prove it to you without a single stat. And all I need to do to prove this is a date. So I'm going to start there, and then I'll explain everything. The day I want us to focus on is March 27th, 2020. Now, let me ask you, John, because, apparently you've got a photographic memory. What were you doing last year on March 27th?
So Friday, March 27th, let me think back. About the biggest thing I remember back then is we're at the beginning of the pandemic, right? Things were just starting to get really crazy.
Yeah, that's the whole story here, John. The pandemic changed everything, our lives, our jobs, and the stock market. You see, on March 27th was the day that President Trump signed the CARES Act into law. Now, here's the key. At $2 trillion, it was the largest economic stimulus in modern history.
The largest, the biggest in history?
Yeah, I'm going to put this in perspective for you. Take a look at this. The CARES Act was bigger than TARP in 2008. Bigger than the first New Deal, the second New Deal, and the third New Deal combined. And before everybody else asks me, yes, that accounts for inflation. So what I want you to understand is that the largest economic stimulus in history, it set the stage for the largest anomaly window in stock market history. Now, all evening long, I've told you the anomaly window is one of Wall Street's secret weapons. I told you no one on Wall Street wants you to know about it, let alone discover the techniques they use to profit from it. And I'm going to prove that to you right now beyond any shadow of a doubt. And to do it, guess what, John?
I bet, unlike me, you don't need any stats, Teeka.
We don't need a single stat. All I got to do is show you a simple picture. I want you to take a look at this. Friends, this is critical. This is a snapshot of the list of my 30 blue chip stocks that I'm going to share with you in a minute. And we'll get to their names shortly. For now, I want you to look at this because this is what the stocks were worth collectively before an anomaly window opens. This is what they're worth after the anomaly window opens. Do you see that, John? Do you see how much value creation there was during this anomaly window period?
Holy cow, Teeka. So I'm with you. So the before and the after, that's what we're looking at right here, right?
Right. So you can see what happens, when the anomaly window opens, what happens? It creates a buying frenzy to end all buying frenzies. Google goes to $1 trillion market cap. Apple soars to a $1 trillion market cap. All told, stock buying levels by all types of investors shattered the record set even in the dot-com boom, John. Think about that.
Teeka, I didn't think I would live long enough to see record buying like we did in the dot-com boom.
Neither did I, John. I didn't think we'd ever see that again. But this is the power of the anomaly. So simply put, when the anomaly window opens, it unlocks a massive amount of buying in the stock market. And here's the key. There's actually something hidden in this picture. What you can't see is that while Main Street rushed in to buy stocks, Wall Street did something different. I mean, yeah, they were buying stocks too, but they used a special technique this approach that I've been telling you about and hinting about all evening long. And they use that to take advantage of this massive rush of buyers into blue chips. Now, again, let me be clear, friends. I know, John, you promised to have an open mind, but I'll promise you this. When I reveal what this technique is, I know that you and everyone watching is not going to want to do it. And again, Wall Street loves it that way. They don't want you in their playground. They don't want you doing what I'm going to suggest you should do. That's why when Main Street set stock buying records, again, what was Wall Street doing? They were setting records too, but different records using the technique and the methods that I'm going to share with you tonight. Now, you asked for a stat. Maybe you thought I forgot about it. I'm going to give you a stat, okay?
Okay.
It's very important. Last year, Wall Street used this technique that I'm about to share with everyone, the one that you're going to hate. They used this technique more than any other point since it was created in 1973. Let that sink in. When you see the difference between what Wall Street made versus what buy and hold investors made, it's going to drive you insane. Let's dive deeper into this list of stocks, and I'll show you just how powerful this technique is. This is a chart of Apple after the anomaly window opened on March 27th. Now, timing here is super important. So I'm just going to mark this at the start of the window in green. Can you see that, John?
Yeah, I got it. I got it right there.
So you can see immediately that after the window opens, Apple goes bananas. Over roughly the next 2 weeks, it goes from about $60 a share to $70 a share. Now, look, if you're a buy and hold investor, you're up 15% on the largest blue chip on the planet. You got to be feeling pumped, right?
Yeah, definitely. For me, Teeka, I'm patting myself on the back. 15% in 2 weeks on $1 trillion company. I mean, that's a year's worth of gains I would have gotten in the S&P.
Right. I could just see you, John, in front of the mirror. It's like you got an S on your chest. But here's the uglier side of the truth. Okay. And this is the difference. While you were happy collecting 15%, Wall Street, they were laughing their butts off, and you didn't even realize it. Because here's the thing you missed out on. Look at this. Wall Street used a technique, again, that I'm going to share with you. Had you followed them with this technique, all you would have had to have done is simply log into your brokerage account, type in a special ticker symbol, and it's a weird-looking ticker symbol. It's a ticker symbol most people aren't familiar with. And you could have made 379% in 12 days. So, John, you got the same stock in the same time frame. One technique gives you 15%. The other technique, the one that you're going to hate when I tell you about it, gives you 379%. Let me make that even more real, because you wanted examples, right? You wanted stats, right?
Right, absolutely.
By buying and holding, you could have pulled forward 1 year of S&P 500 gains. If, however, you had gone outside of your comfort zone and used Wall Street's technique, you could have pulled forward 27 years of gains. Which one do you want? It's a no-brainer. But I'm telling you right now, when I tell you how they did it, as simple as it is, it's just a different ticker symbol, you're not going to want to use it. You're going to say, oh, that's too hard, Twari. I can't deal with that. It's too much brain damage. Twari, no. But I'm telling you, if you want to pull forward 27 years of gains in 12 days, you got to do something different.
I mean, it can't be that simple. You keep going on and on about me and the folks at home not wanting to do it. So it can't be that simple if it's just that punching in a different ticker symbol.
You know how simple it was when I told people to buy Bitcoin at $428, but they found it too complicated to go to Coinbase and open an account? Right?
Yeah.
When something's new, John, you'll be surprised how complicated people will make it, how they'll get into their own heads about it. I will tell you right now, in order to run this strategy, all you have to do is take a ticker symbol, which is just a little different from a normal ticker symbol, enter it in your online brokerage account, then you can use the same strategy Wall Street uses. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in just a second, I promise. First, I want to show you how Wall Street took advantage of Microsoft. Here's a chart of Microsoft, should be coming up on your screen. This is right after the anomaly window opened. Again, the same thing happens. The shares spike. If you're a buy and hold investor, you make 13%. Now let's think about the average retail investor. I mean, that's almost a year's worth of S&P 500 gains. You're thinking, it doesn't get better than that. And friends, Wall Street wants you to be ecstatic with making 13%. But I'm here to tell you, the real gains that you can make from the same stock during the same time period can be much bigger. If you were using Wall Street's technique, the same technique that they made $50 billion from so far in Q1, and you typed in this ticker symbol instead, you could have made 417% in 15 days. 417% versus 13%. If you could pull forward 400% in 2 weeks, that's 3 decades worth of S&P 500 gains. That's literally 30 years of your life back. John, you'd be 80 before you saw those types of returns in the S&P 500. And it all came from this special ticker. It's like a light switch. Once people get over their initial reluctance, anyone can use this approach and activate this technique. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how old you are or what your net worth is. But again,
let me guess,
John.
Teeka. Let me guess. We're not going to want to use it. I mean, come on, Teeka. I'm being patient, but I can't see any reason why we wouldn't be all in on this, right? I mean, 417% versus 13%. I mean, a second ago, you said 400%. You actually rounded down, wiped off the 17%, and that was more than the 13%. So especially in this world, the stimulus hasn't gone away, right? The anomaly window that was created because of it. In fact, if anything, it's accelerating. We keep hearing more and more plans are coming out.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because this is the real tragedy. The real tragedy is that I'm just showing you a small sliver of this anomaly window. The fact is, there's been more stimulus in the past 12 months than there's been in the past 100 years. It has literally created an anomaly window unlike anything anyone living today has ever seen. No one alive today has ever seen anything like this. And yet, because Wall Street has conditioned the everyday American investor to hate this one technique that I'm about to share with you, they are missing out on the chance to make multiple lifetimes worth of gains. Just take a look at December 27th. Back then, another $2 trillion worth of stimulus came into the market and blue chip stocks like Walgreens popped. It's up 30%. Now look, I'm not going to knock a 30% gain. It's amazing. But at the same time, if you knew the technique that I promise you I will share with you, John, you're probably getting a little upset with me now, but I promise you I will share with you. If you knew this technique and typed in this ticker, you could have made 1,667% from Walgreens in just 27 days. Again, let me put that in terms that are life-changing. John, that's the equivalent of holding the S&P for a century. 100 years. When I talk about reaching through time and pulling back decades of your life, that's not hyperbole. That's the power of this investment strategy.
Now I understand, Teeka, why you're talking about our blood boiling. Sure, 30% on Walgreens is great. It's a big blue chip stock. But knowing there's way out there to make 1,600% from Walgreens in less than a month, like who wouldn't want to do that? That's 100 years worth of gains. Like we don't know what the S&P is going to be like in 100 years, but we know what today is like. So clearly, we all need to, and the folks at home need to learn this technique. And we need to know what it's all about, Teeka.
And that's why I'm here right now, because right now, with trillions of dollars of stimulus being pumped in, I think 100 years worth of gains is just the beginning. Here's another one. Remember we talked about Eli Lilly before. Lilly, the boring stock, man. Boring, go nowhere stock for many, many years. But it spiked 20% in 20 days earlier this year. That's an insane move for a 100-year-old, $150 billion company. But again, it's nothing compared to Wall Street's technique. If you knew the technique that I'm going to share with you, you could have made 3,473% in 20 days. That's 2 centuries worth of S&P 500 gains in a boring blue chip in 20 days. My point is, friends, and believe me, I know I'm belaboring this point. I know. It's because I want to show you just how valuable this technique is. I want to show you why you must go beyond your comfort zone and why you must put this strategy to work in your life during this anomaly window right now. Because I don't know if we'll ever see an anomaly window like this in our lifetime ever again.
Well, I'm with you, Teeka. I'm sold. And I know some of the folks are at home. They keep putting comments in the question box like, what's the technique? So I don't care what it is, and I don't think they do either. I don't care what I have to do. If you're telling me I got to open up 3 different brokerages account, I don't care, right? I'm willing to do it. I've got to get in on this anomaly window. This is something else.
Okay. All right, John. The good news is you can do this in a regular brokerage account. The good news is you can even call your broker and run the trade for you. The good news is you don't need 3 different brokerage accounts. So I'm going to tell you what this technique is. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's options.
All right, come on, options. Teeka, you strung me along for options? That's way too risky, right? You just threw a whole wet blanket on this event. Everybody loses their shirt in options.
Just give me a second to collect myself.
I can go on and on, Teeka. Like, I can keep going. Like, I mean, you said out of my comfort zone, but come on, options?
So this is exactly what I was speaking about earlier, about having an open mind. John, you're a very, very smart man. Even so, I knew as soon as the word options, not even all I had to say was op, was uttered. Here's what happens. There's a click and a whir, and it goes off in everybody's head that's watching right now. And what that click and that whir is, it's Wall Street's conditioning starting to go to work. And it's not your fault, John. Friends, it's not your fault at home. I want you to know that billions of dollars of advertising are the reasons these red lights are flashing in your mind right now. They're the reason I knew that as I said the word options, 2 words would pop into your brain: risky and run. And they'd be on a loop: risky and run, risky and run, risky and run. Am I right, John?
You are right. And I said lose your shirt, but that's what's sitting in my head. It's like you just read my mind, Teeka. Risky and run. That's exactly what I thought when the word option came in.
I'm sure everybody watching tonight is thinking, oh my good Lord, Twari, you made me sit here all this time and now you're telling me it's options? I never would have sat through this if I knew it was options. Friends, indulge me for a minute longer. I would never ask you to come here and waste your time on something as risky and outlandish as a typical options trading strategy. Remember, I asked you to keep your mind open. Remember, I said that you're going to want to completely dismiss this idea. Here's the thing. All those feelings that you have right now, that tightness in your chest, the memories of lost money, the churning in your stomach, I want you to take them, wrap them up in a ball, put them aside in a box, just for a few more minutes. And I want you to stay with me, keep your mind open. I want you to have an open mind because I'm going to explain something to you that's going to blow your mind. And I think change your mind. You see, Wall Street has spent an obscene amount of money promoting the riskiest way to use options. It's why people get blown up in options all the time. Now, the first question that should be coming to your mind right now is why would they do that? Remember, I talked to you at the very beginning tonight about incentives, about economic incentives. If you had an economic incentive for people to do something that consistently lost them money but made you money, would you do it? Well, if you're a rapacious, greed-obsessed animal, the way that Wall Street is, yes, you would. You see, the way that they promote options to the general public have become a massive profit center for them because they make money taking the other side of the trade, the other side of the strategies that they have spent billions of dollars to promote. Because if you look at the way they promote option strategies, I've only ever seen them promote the riskiest option strategies, which again, they make money from because they're on the other side of the trade. So what I'm going to do here tonight is I'm setting the record straight to tell you what Wall Street will never tell you about options. And that is the right way to use them the way that Wall Street's using to make $50 billion the way they did last quarter. I'm going to show you the most proven, consistent, profitable option strategies I've ever come across. I'm going to do that right now. I have to warn you, John, you're not going to like what you see. No one here is going to like what I show them. Because when I told you that you're going to get uncomfortable, that I'm going to take you out of your comfort zone, we're here. We're in that place because positive change only comes from moving outside of your comfort zone. So let's do this. Let's bring it to the here and now. This is a chart of a line from last month, right after President Biden pumped in another $1.9 trillion of stimulus. Now this time, let's say you're in the know. You knew the stimulus was going to keep the anomaly window wide open. So you log into your brokerage account, you type in this ticker, and what do you get? You get 12 times your money in 16 days. You're sitting on more than $25,000 from a $2,500 investment in 16 days. But here's the thing. What you're looking at is the result of using the right option strategy, the strategy I'm going to teach you tonight, and the strategy that Wall Street uses with their own money. But what happens if we use the strategy that Wall Street promotes, the strategy that Wall Street actually tells you to take in options? Well, John, I want you to take a guess. We made 12 times our money using the Wall Street method that they use with their own money. How much do you think we make with the method that they tell their clients to use?
I mean, at least a little bit, maybe 300%, 200%, something like that, right? I know we're not going to make what Wall Street makes. I get that, right?
Right. I mean, that would be equitable, right? Let me make at least 10 or 20% of what Wall Street would make. If you use the option strategies they promote to their customers, you have 100% loss. This is why people hate options, because you're on the wrong side of the trade. Guess who's on the other side of the trade? They are. And that's true on every single one of these trades. They don't even give you a single crumb, John.
That's unreal, right? Now, that's why what popped in my head, and I'm sure the folks at home, is risky and run, right? Like, we know that you make a trade and you're either going to be a winner or a loser, and you're going to either make money or make zeros.
Right. And 95% of the time, it's zero. But 95% of the time, Wall Street's on the other side making that profit. And so that's why they promote it. Friends, I want you to understand that Wall Street is like a big, bloated, fat, hairy beast. And they take the entire, if let's call it a 12-course meal, they want it all. They want the appies. They want the main courses. They want the 15 desserts. They want the after dinner drink. And they're not going to leave you with a single crumb. The fact is, John, we looked at a whole slew of trades. And on every single trade, if you follow what Wall Street tells you to do with options, you lose 100% of your money every time. Let's take a look at this next one. Again, we're looking at the impact of the anomaly window here and now. In this case, let's say you targeted NUE last month. It's a $20 billion steel manufacturer. Steel is as boring as you can get, except during the anomaly. If you use the right technique, if you got in on the right side of the trade, over the next 13 days, you could have seen a 2,900% gain. That turns $2,500 into $72,000 in 2 weeks. That's insane. But again, let's look at what happened to the poor folks that were following the same stock, but using the option strategy Wall Street has spent so much money selling us on. They had a very different outcome. They lost 100% of their money. They got zero.
Again, if I'm on the Wall Street side, on a steel manufacturer of all things, I'm turning $2,500 into 72 grand T. But if I'm on the Main Street side, right, what I'll call the left side of the trade, I've lost $2,500. Like, I went to zero. So I've gone from the outhouse to the penthouse on a steel manufacturer if I use the right strategy in this example.
Right. If you use options the right way, the returns can be life-changing, especially during an anomaly period. This anomaly period alone, $2,500 in lows could have turned into $40,000 in 35 days with options. $2,500 in Google could have turned into $54,000 in 33 days with options. And $2,500 in Amazon could have turned into over $100,000 with options. But again, you had to know the correct technique to use, because the wrong one, the one that Wall Street promotes, had you losing money, 100% of your money, on every single one of those same trades.
Teeka, all I can do is sit here and think that really burns me up, right? I never really knew about the right side of the trade. But what burns me up even more, Teeka, is I know even more stimulus was announced this month. So this anomaly window, it has to get even bigger, right? And if Wall Street has their way, I'll either walk away with zero, or I'm going to retire in a couple decades by buying and holding. So please, I think it's time, Teeka. Can you give us the names of the 30 stocks for this next phase of the anomaly?
Let's do it, John. So to give you some context, when I entered the newsletter space, one of my first lines of letters was to bring this strategy to my readers. And I in order to do it, I partnered with one of the foremost experts in the world of options trading. And every other week in this project, which I call Alpha Edge, we're delivering our readers the exact strategies that Wall Street uses to trade options. And we are winning at a phenomenal rate. 98% of the time, we make money in options. Sounds crazy, right, John?
Sounds way crazy, Teeka. Way crazy.
98%, right? If I'm at home, I'm thinking, no way that's true.
That's what I'm thinking here, talking to you. No way. 98%, like we already saw on Wall Street, you lose 100% of the time. How can you win 98% of the time, Teeka?
It all has to do with the technique that you use. You see, since January of 2016, Alpha Edge has generated 163 trades. Guess how many of those were losers?
Well, I'm trying to do the math real quick. Of 98%, right? Maybe 10, Teeka? I don't know, right?
Lower.
All right, so since January 2016, so 98%, 5?
You're getting closer.
Okay, at least one, right? I mean, you said it's not a 100% winner, so how about one trade? You got to have one loser.
Well, we've had the service since 2012, but since 2016, okay, which is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, right? 6 years. 163 trades, 0 losers.
Dang.
0 losers. 163 winners in a row. All told, since the service was created in 2012, we've achieved a 98% win rate. Let me be very clear, friends, because if I'm in your shoes, I'm thinking that is complete bovine scatology. There's no way. Let me be very clear. There's no cherry picking in that number. There's no back testing. I didn't hire some kid, Ivy League kid, to run a crazy back test. 98% is the actual real life track record of the Alpha Edge Research Service. And we've achieved that with the 30 stocks I'm about to share with you right now. Let's put that list up right now. So if you are using the correct option strategy, the one that Wall Street uses, the one that we use at Alpha Edge, I believe targeting these 30 companies can potentially help you pull forward a minimum of 20 years worth of stock market gains. And there are 3 names on this list that my right-hand man, my options expert, believe could hand you potentially multiple lifetimes worth of gains. Now, of course, I can't reveal which 3 or the exact strategies my subscribers will be using. And I know you might be getting mad at me, but think about it. Would that be fair to my Alpha Edge subscribers? It wouldn't be. But if you want, though, I'm prepared to email you the exact strategy with the exact codes you need to take advantage of these ideas immediately. That way you can get in on the action too.
I know I can't wait to see it. I mean, I'm thinking a 98% win rate. That's something special. And that goes back nearly a decade, Teeka. That's unbelievable, really. Right? I mean, I can't imagine anybody that's had a 98% win rate over the course of 9+ years. So let me walk everyone here through the new member process, and then we're going to move on to the Q&A, folks. So if you got questions right now, start putting them in the box. Teeka and I are going to get to it. Okay, folks. As Teeka said, because you made the time to be here today, he's reserved a seat at Alpha Edge just for you. Now, I got to warn you, Alpha Edge isn't cheap, but rightly so. To my knowledge, it's the most successful research service of its kind in the industry. Again, since 2012, the trades delivered to Alpha Edge readers, they've been winners 98% of the time. And again, as Teeka mentioned, that's not a back test, folks. That's not cherry picking anything. 98% is a real life win rate of Alpha Edge trades sent to subscribers. So considering the track record, the annual price tag, it's going to make sense to you. A 1-year membership to Alpha Edge costs $4,000. But here's the thing, though. You're not going to have to pay $4,000 tonight. Look, you're not even going to have to pay $3,000 tonight. You're not even going to have to pay $2,000 tonight. Get this. Teeka arranged for you to receive greater than a 50% discount to Alpha Edge. In short, when you join Teeka's Alpha Edge today, the price of your 1-year membership, it's going to be slashed to $1,750. That's correct. Instead of paying $4,000, which is what everybody else typically has to pay, you only pay $1,750. And what's so exciting is you can get in the action immediately. Within minutes of joining right now, you'll be emailed a link to Teeka's anomaly window trade alert he just mentioned. This alert is going to cover everything you need to know to take advantage of this anomaly window. Inside, you're going to find the exact codes you need that you'll be able to type into your brokerage account and activate the right option strategy. This particular trade alert, it contains 3 trade recommendations. But to be clear, as an Alpha Edge member, though, you stand to get much more than just 3 trades over the coming weeks. So every other week, Teeka and his right-hand man he mentioned will give you a new recommendation. These recommendations also come in an easy-to-read alert. If you want, you can just scroll down, copy the options code, and paste it into your brokerage account. And like Teeka said, with the anomaly window officially open today, the timing couldn't be better. So what I'm going to do now is have a button pop up to the side of our screen, and I want you to click this button now. It's going to take you to a new member form. You can read all through this deal, again at Alpha Edge for the highly discounted price of $1,750. Remember, for this low price, you're getting immediate access to Teeka's new anomaly window trade alerts. There are 3 in total. You're also getting access to a full year of Alpha Edge going forward. It provides you with a new recommendation every other week. I should also mention, folks, Alpha Edge comes with a special members-only website. It's extremely valuable. If you're new to doing options the right way, you're going to find an entire video course that's going to teach you the correct strategy, the strategy that puts you on the right side of the trade. Here, you're also going to find monthly video updates from Teeka's right-hand man, along with the model portfolio, so you can keep easy track of your trades. You get all of this: the 3 anomaly window trade recommendations, the bi-weekly recommendations, the monthly updates, the model portfolio, the quick start options video course. Tonight, you're going to get all this for the low price of $1,750 instead of the $4,000 folks normally pay. That's greater than a 50% discount tonight. Now, Teeka, you've done so much here tonight for both me and the folks at home. I want to bring something to the table too. So in short, you're going to love this. I've been authorized to give every person who joins Alpha Edge tonight only a bonus year. That's correct. When you click on the button and join Teeka, you can have 2 full years of Alpha Edge. But I'm not finished, Teeka. I know how hard it can be to get out of your comfort zone. Believe me, folks. So I want to do even more for you. In short, until midnight tonight, I want to give everybody here the chance to get 2 years of Alpha Edge for $1,500. This is one of the best offers we've ever done, Teeka, and the best I've ever seen for Alpha Edge. And I think you're going to agree, bud. So look, there's not another moment to waste, folks. I want you to click on the button or call the number on your screen. I'm going to say the number for those of you that are listening. The number is 800-436-1295. Again, I'm going to go a little slower, so you got your pad and pencil. Again, the number is 800-436-1295. And while you go, check out the offer. It's going to open in a new window. You won't miss a single minute of me and Teeka. You can see everything on the page, including the $1,500 tonight only discount for 2 years. Teeka and I, we're going to dive right into the Q&A. Are you ready to go, Teeka?
I'm ready. I'm still reeling. That was a shock to me. I didn't know we were giving a second year for free. That's an amazing deal, John. Are you sure are we going to be able to keep the lights on?
It is an amazing deal, Teeka. But I know how hard it is for folks to get out of their comfort zone. I really know. I mean, that's why we spent so much time talking about it tonight. So I want to give no excuses for taking advantage of this opportunity. It's the biggest anomaly window we've ever seen. It's one of the best times in history to be investing in this. Like we said, we haven't seen anything like this in the stock market since the dot-com era. And you and I don't think ever thought we'd see that again in our lifetimes. It's just unreal.
No.
So I want to make all the excuses out of the way. $1,500, a 98% win rate, going all the way back to 2012, right? 2 years of Alpha Edge for $1,500. Like, that's the best deal I can offer, right, folks? We've done everything we can to meet you nearly all the way there. I'd even say 98% of the way there. I just need you to come the extra 2%.
Yeah, that's very, very compelling. Wow. Yeah, that's friends. It's an amazing deal to get access to trades with that type of track record. You know, if we were running a hedge fund, that's actually my biggest fear, is that my options guy will get scooped up by a hedge fund because his record is just so incredible. I don't know of any hedge funds that have 98% win rates. You've got hedge funds out there with 55 and 60% win rates that have billions of dollars under management that make hundreds of billions of dollars a year in fees. So to get access to a service that has a 98% win rate, that's put out 163 winners in a row since 2016, for the equivalent of essentially $750 a year. What is that? $60 a month? I mean, that's incredible, John.
It is. It's an incredible opportunity. But again, folks, that's tonight only. You've got to order before midnight tonight in order to take advantage of that.
All right, John, I'm sure there's been a lot of questions. Why don't we get into the Q&A?
Yeah, sounds great. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to pull them up here on my pad, and we'll get started. You ready to go?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, Teeka, like I said, we're at our Q&A. So, folks, get ready to go. You got your pen and paper ready to go. Here, we're going to get right into the questions. All right, so some of these are going to come in earlier in the night. Remember, guys, I was asking for questions all along. So here's one, I'm sure, from earlier in the night. Options, Twari? Seriously?
Seriously. You got to use them the right way, right? It's like being a gun owner. If you're stupid with a gun, you're going to kill yourself or kill somebody else. If you're trained, you know how to use a gun properly. They're very enjoyable. They can be used for self-defense. They can be used for fun. Options are the same way. Unfortunately, as I've told you, the 95% of the time that people use options the way that Wall Street tells them to use them, they lose money. And the reason why, again, it comes back to economic incentives. If you look at the biggest option market makers in the world, they're predominantly massive Wall Street firms. So being an options market maker is a huge profit center when 95% of the options you sell basically make you a profit and make the other guy a loss. Remember, options are a zero-sum game. For every winner, there's a loser. So if you have a particular technique that people lose 95% of the time, but you're on the other side and you win 95% of the time, how much of your marketing budget is going to go into promoting that particular strategy? Right?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. So that's why when people hear options, they immediately either recall their own horror stories or other people's horror stories, because the way that most people use options is really just enriching Wall Street brokers and not themselves. And the difference here is that in Alpha Edge, we use options the way that the top Wall Street firms use them and the way that the top hedge funds use them. And the proof that the way we use options is so much better than the way that Wall Street tells people to use them is our win rate. We haven't had a loser since 2016. If you go all the way back to 2012, our win rate's 98%. I'll put that up against anyone, anywhere, professional money manager or not.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that, Teeka. I've been scrolling through here, trying to find the next question. And I'm going to jump ahead here a little bit into some of the later questions. Oh, here's a great one that just showed up. Can I call someone to place my order? So folks, this one I'll take, Teeka, because I got it right here. Can I call someone to place my order? Folks, you can call. Absolutely. We have people standing by right now. They'll be there all day tomorrow, all day the next day. But I encourage you, in order to take advantage of tonight's offer, you have to call right now. So that number again is 800-436-1295. Please write it down. You can call right now. It may take a few minutes for them to answer, so you can still listen to Teeka and I. You don't need to wait till the very end to give them a call. Pick up the phone and go through it right now.
I have a question, John.
Sure.
What's the cutoff on that 2-year deal for 1 year? What is there a time that people have to wait? People only have until a certain amount of time to make that call?
Yeah, so it's tonight, right? It's midnight tonight Eastern. It's $1,500 for 2 years, only through midnight tonight Eastern. Now, of course, if you don't order tonight, you may have an opportunity later on to order, but definitely not at tonight's price, right? So we haven't done this. You and I haven't talked about this at all. So I think that's great.
This is all new to me. Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Yeah.
So I think this is great. It's $1,500, folks. It is tonight at midnight Eastern. Sorry, maybe I didn't make that clear earlier. Midnight Eastern tonight, $1,500. People will be standing by on that line, 800-436-1295, or you can click the link right in here next to us. It'll open in a new window, and you'll be able to answer right away.
Right. So they'll get the same deal whether they click the link or call, but clicking the link is faster, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. For those most comfortable, want to order online, it's 128-bit encryption, and we have all that stuff, right? All that same stuff Amazon has, you can order tonight online with us.
Okay.
All right, here's another one. Will this anomaly window continue to get bigger?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, what's really interesting about this, John, is that this anomaly window, usually anomaly windows are very country specific, right? But we're seeing stimulus happen all over the world. And of course, America's leading the way. And if we look at the number one thing I'm looking at for the continuation of this trend is the $3 to $4 trillion infrastructure bill that President Joe Biden is talking about right now. Now, I don't know what the final number is going to be, but it's going to be in the trillions. And again, it's going to blow open this anomaly window even larger. That's why, yeah, we've got 3 trades to go right now, but I think we could have dozens of trades to take advantage of this anomaly window because it's massive. Think about it right now. We've seen more stimulus than we've ever seen in a century in the United States. That's more than World War II, right? More than the Great Depression, more than the 87 crash, more than 2008 crash, right? We've never seen these kind of numbers. So it's giving us this opportunity to kind of, it really is to reach through time and pull forward all these gains because it's not going to last forever, okay? It's not going to last forever. And so we want to take maximum advantage of it. And that's exactly what we intend to do at Alpha Edge.
That's why I love the fact that you call it anomaly window, right? That it means it's going to open, right? It's been open here with the stimulus, and it's getting even bigger, but it is going to close. So this isn't, you'll be able to do this type of anomaly investment